Welcome to Exam Sale. In this video we will guide you through the syllabus for the Salesforce Certified OmniStudio Developer exam so you know exactly what to study and where to focus your time. This exam is organized into 7 weighted domains: OmniScripts 20%, OmniStudio DataRapters 20%, Integration Procedures 17%, FlexCards 15%, OmniStudio Deployment and Troubleshooting 12%, OmniStudio Expression Engine 8%, and Calculation Procedures and Matrices 8%. I will explain each domain's focus, difficulty, estimated study time, assessment type, and the key topics you need to master. OmniScripts is weighted at 20% and focuses on designing complex guided business processes with dynamic branching and UI components. This domain is marked hard, with about 15 hours of study, and will be assessed with hands-on and conceptual questions. You will learn OmniScript step and element types, script structure and UI organization, dynamic branching and conditional views, visual styling using the Lightning design system, messaging and notification configurations, header and footer setup, and how to execute actions like DataRapter and integration procedure calls, remote apex actions, set values, validation rules, and state management. OmniStudio DataRapters is also 20% and focuses on configuring data mapping tools for reading, writing, and transforming Salesforce data via JSON. This medium difficulty domain requires around 12 hours of study and uses scenario-based assessment to test practical application. You will study DataRapter Turbo Extract for high-performance single-object retrieval, DataRapter Extract for multi-object relational queries, DataRapter Load for creates and updates, DataRapter Transform for JSON mapping, formulas and functions within mappings, output mapping and JSON structure definition, relationship pathing, field mapping and value conversion, upsert key configuration, null and default handling, and how to integrate DataRapters with OmniScripts and FlexCards. Integration procedures account for 17% of the exam and focus on developing server-side processes to aggregate data from multiple sources in a single call. This hard domain expects about 14 hours of study and combines hands-on and conceptual assessment to validate orchestration skills. You will learn integration procedure action elements including HTTP and remote actions, conditional execution with execution conditional formulas, loop and cache blocks, try-catch error handling, response actions and data pruning, batch processing, reducing client-side processing through server-side aggregation, chaining integration procedures, security and field-level compliance, testing and debugging with the Preview tab, and using list actions for JSON restructuring. FlexCards make up 15% of the exam and focus on building contextual UI components to display information and launch actions. This medium domain takes about 10 hours to learn and uses hands-on and conceptual assessments to check design and interactivity skills. You will practice configuring DataRapter and integration procedure data sources for FlexCards, managing state and conditional styling, designing layouts and elements in the FlexCard Designer, handling context IDs and global variables, using the test data feature for UI validation, and implementing interactions such as OmniScript, URL, navigation, pub/sub actions, event listeners, embedding FlexCards, and integrating FlexCards into Lightning pages and communities. OmniStudio Deployment and Troubleshooting is weighted at 12% and focuses on migrating metadata between environments and resolving execution errors. This medium domain requires about 8 hours of study and is scenario-based to test real-world deployment and debugging skills. Expect to learn IDX Build Tool and IDX Workbench usage, migrating OmniStudio components via data packs, dependency management during deployment, differences between standard metadata deployment and data packs, using the OmniScript debugger to trace execution, troubleshooting integration procedure responses, inspecting DataRapter input and output JSON, browser console debugging for LWC-based components, and identifying common FlexCard configuration errors. OmniStudio Expression Engine contributes 8% of the exam and focuses on utilizing built-in functions to perform logical and mathematical operations. This easy domain takes about 5 hours and combines conceptual and scenario-based assessment to verify expression usage. You will master string functions for manipulation and formatting, mathematical operators and aggregation functions, date and time functions, logical operators like AND, OR, and IF, and how to apply expressions within OmniScripts and DataRapters to drive dynamic behavior and calculations. Calculation procedures and matrices are also 8% and focus on implementing complex lookup tables and multi-step mathematical calculations. This hard domain needs about 10 hours of study with scenario-based assessments to validate design and integration of calculation logic. You will learn the differences between standard and grouped calculation matrices, calculation procedure steps and variable handling, aggregation steps and post-processor logic, versioning and enabling matrices, and how to integrate calculation procedures with OmniScripts for accurate runtime calculations. That wraps up the syllabus overview for the Salesforce Certified OmniStudio Developer Exam. Use the domain weights and estimated study times to plan your preparation. Prioritize hands-on practice for the hard domains, and revisit the expression and calculation topics for accuracy. Good luck with your studies and thanks for watching Exam Sale.